here's a short video for you. Here's my meters. I finally got my terminal ends in. No generating there. The 2 meters on the left are the drive motor. Drive motor's running, as you can hear. Kind of a little bit noisy, but I'll keep the camera. I'll hog all the audio here. Keep the camera by me. See the 19 volts and the 0.5 amps, and here's the variac, you know. So we got a few volts there, and watch the drop when I power up. Okay, I'm gonna select a terminal here. Okay, there's our drop. Let me get it on there better. Alright, so 19 volts, so about 3/4 of a watt or something. It declined, and we're getting power out. We're getting about the same amount or less out. There's our volts down there, 39, and I'm not sure how accurate these meters are, but you get the idea that it's going up and down. There it goes back up again. Hear the RPM, hear the notes. You'll hear a certain sound where it's rising and rising, and the amp draw goes down. See, it's down 40 milliamps. That's normal generating. Now let's try a different terminal. I was on a terminal here, which would be actually represent more wire than is on about the same, but just a couple of terminals over. And let me show it to you again for those of you who haven't seen it. See my terminal block there. So when I reach up here and power right in here somewhere, the light lights up, but it goes down over here. See, here it's slowing down. And so each one of these represents 70 feet of wire. So I got 72 times, you know, like 400 feet, maybe 500 feet, I don't know, count it up. But now, like, if I move a few terminals over, the light is brighter. Excuse me. So you see what I'm doing. I'm moving the probe on this series of terminals right here. I wanted to show you in the light. So you see what I'm doing. There's 50 terminals here. Now there's a nice bright terminal. You know, like that. Here's one, pin 14. Now that didn't do anything. You see that? Well, it went a little bit less. It speeded up a little. Now I'll take it off. See it slow right down? The amps, look on the left, the amp draw. You can hear the note of the sound of the generator. It wants to run about 1,000 RPMs at these volts. Right? And then over here, you see the output. The output is a lot more. It was 39, now it's 45.3 at 25 milliamps. So that's a watt in an eighth, 1.12 watts, and this drops instead of going up. So this is over 100% efficient on generating. It's not a practical solution, but it shows the concept. Now what I wanted else to show you was I took this 50 terminals here and split them up. Now watch what happens to the amp draw And all I'm doing, I'm not powering anything. All I'm doing is unhooking the center wire. This red wire is lugged. I got a lug nut here. I put a lug nut to the wire that goes there. So I'm, in essence, breaking up the board in two separate circuits. Now watch what happens when I take that lug off there. Listen to the sound. I don't know if I can do it one-handed. Hold on. Okay, I took the lug off. It's right here. And it's still tied together, because I slightly twisted them together there. Now watch your amp draw. Moving the light around here a little. Okay, we still got 0.5 amps at 19 volts. Now watch what happens. There's a certain amount of flux in these coils, just from the magnet going over them. Now watch the amp draw. Look at that. Hear the sound? The note. It's going way up. 44. It drops 60 milliamps. So I'm losing 60, not really, but you see my point. I'm using an additional 60 milliamps just by having the whole coil hooked up. Now let's see if it generates with just half the coil. Yep, and it does. See it drop right down? Well, I should take that back. It went up at that terminal. But you see what I'm doing? I'm exploring resistance values. So the flux that's in that coil, if you have all 50 of those crazy terminals hooked up, that equals almost 120 ohms. That thing really has a large capacity. That's the right statement to make. It's a huge capacity in there. And I can't use it for, so if it's too long, I can't use it, see, for powering these loads. Now I might be able to use it on other loads, but I'm trying to power an isolated, you know, a certain load. Now I'm going to hook half the coil up. There it goes, see, half the coil. And that makes it pull down a little bit at this RPM. See that? Pulls down a little. Now to reach the null, I would probably have to raise the RPMs a little. There, I raised them up a little, which meant that now I'm running 21 volts and 0.242 amps, and it's powered up, see? Now when I unhook, and I'm getting 44 volts here and 20 milliamps there. Now watch what happens to the drive motor. Let's see if I can get this light out of your eyes. Okay, I'm going to unhook, see? I'm still hooked up. Okay, you ready? I just unhooked. It's about the same. It's a little less now with the load off. So you get my meaning. I got to raise the RPM up a little. Now I raise it way up, but then I back it down so I don't have to wait too long. Okay, I got it a little higher now. Being it's a little bit higher, it may work at the 25th terminal. Here it is again. Watch the light. And then this is 0.4. Now it's off. And it's 0.4. So we reached the null, let's say at around maybe 1100-1200 RPMs, because that's a 1600 RPM motor. which when it sounds full, listen to it go way up. That's 16. Well, not quite. Probably can't go 16. Maybe it's going 16. Okay, now, but that's where we are. We're at like, you understand what I'm saying? That's much slower. Could be 12 or 1100. There's full. And that's the speed I'm wanting to go. A little lower. Which is like 20, 22, maybe 23 volts. So about 1200 we'll say. So at 1200 RPMs in our experiment here today in 0.4 amps, almost 23 volts, we can generate power and collect our data values. There's another connection I can, now it went up, see that? That's at the 20th, no, that's at the, see what is that? Yeah, I think that's the 20th terminal, and that is the 12th and so on. Let me get my meters turned back on again. So all the way down here at 25, it's brighter. I'm getting 3/4 or better of a watt output. It's 44 volts and 20 milliamps. And over here, nothing's changed, I don't think. Well, maybe a little. Not much. Okay, so I've reached a critical null point where when I power up, it's actually speeding up just a tiny bit, but you can't hear it. So at the 25th terminal, about 1200 RPMs with 10 poles. I got 10 poles, magnet poles on that wheel, on that rotor. But now normal generating, you can see, pulls down. See it go up over here? It's definitely going up. We've got light, and we're getting 47 volts through the bulb at 25 milliamps. And we're running the generator still at about 23 volts. But the amp draw on the motor goes up. So it went up 30 milliamps, you know, about a half, better than a half a watt. Now, I'm not sure of the watts on that. But normal generating is where each time you draw electricity for the bulb, the input power has to increase, and that's what you're watching. Now, if we go back to the special generating, it would be this terminal. This terminal does not cause the amp draw to change at all, and yet I'm getting power, and lots of it. So I'm getting a good 3/4 watt there. And if I put many coils on there, of course, I can get free energy, because each time I put a coil on there, nothing happens over here. Now, another way we could help it out is by putting magnets to counterbalance the cogging. See, the cogging, I'll shut this off and I'll explain something to you. There. The motor cogs, in other words, when the magnet comes close to the rotor, the magnet on the rotor comes close to the metal on the core material. Let me shut these off. There, they're all off. You'll see the cogging. I mean, this thing is, it's hard. to break the lock on that. That lock is twisting this rag joint up. Ouch. It really is hard to turn that when you first start, and then it floats freer, but there's a lot of drag there. Now, when I hooked the motor up without anything on it, I was running about maybe 20 milliamps or something like, not 20 milliamps, maybe 180 or 120 milliamps. Then when I hooked it to the rotor and ran it, it was at about 250 milliamps. It's a very small rotor. It's a very small 10 millimeter shaft and a very small rotor inside there. Let me show it to you again. See the really tiny little saw blade? And it's hard. You'll see that lock in there? See how those small magnets, even those small magnets, lock hard. And they drag down the motor when it's running. So it doubles when, well, I should say that this is 1/4 of an amp at the 20-25 volt range that I'm operating. And then when I hook the coil up, it doubles. So I'm at 0.5 amps or 0.45 depending on how fast I'm running. But there's definitely a doubling relationship in amp draw because of that cogging. Now if I go over here on the other side and I put a counteracting magnet on the other side so that this doesn't cog, so it's free floating, then I'll save another percentage of the power I'm using now. And in this case, it would probably be, 5 watts. So I'm doing watt here and watt there right now with this prototype measuring machine. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back.